Welcome to Leading in the Age of AI, a podcast and platform where you will learn to lead without burnout, integrate AI without losing your voice, and become who the future requires.
Welcome to this week's episode of Leading in the Age of AI. This week, we're going to dive into AI with integrity and talk about tools that support your nervous system. There's something happening right now that no one is naming clearly enough. AI is powerful. We all know this. And power without discernment overwhelms the nervous system. And so right now, what I'm really noticing is like every week, not even every week, every day, multiple times a day, there's a new tool, there's a new update, there's a new must adopt this. If you look anywhere, it's like, if you don't do this right now, it's like every new headline telling you that if you don't integrate immediately, you will fall behind. And so, for high achieving leaders like all of you listening, especially those that have been wired so long for the way that we've been talking about the old paradigms, that creates pressure and you can feel it in your nervous system. But here's the truth: just because something is powerful, it does not mean that it deserves to have access to your nervous system. And yet, we've never been taught tools or ways or practices that can be an allowance of that. Just take that in for a moment. Just because something is powerful does not mean it deserves to get access to your nervous system. Just even notice what that does. So, we're talking in leadership rooms, we're talking with friends, we're talking with family, we're saying, is AI the problem? But I don't actually think that AI is the problem. The problem is dysregulated adoption. The problem is if we take this in the same way that we have taken everything in since we've known how, then we are going to have dysregulated adoption. And that will not work. Because when AI is approached from fear, from comparison, from productivity addiction, even from scarcity, it speeds up those thought loops. You know what I'm talking about? These thought loops that we get stuck in constantly. And when those thought loops are spinning constantly, it increases this sense of urgency. And when our urgency increases, our focus decreases. Maybe it doesn't even decrease, it fragments our focus. I know that I've really noticed myself in all of the sort of new updates, like, what's that? What's that? What's that? Like, it's that fragmented approach to our focus. But when we can adopt AI from this grounded place of leadership, then actually what the opportunity is, the real opportunity is to reduce cognitive overload, reduce this mind thought loop spinning constantly looking for the next thing. It can actually create white space. Do you know what that is? White space? Yeah, I know it's foreign, right? We haven't really learned what having white space can be about. And I know one of my clients I work with this year, their word for the year is clarity. Well, AI has the opportunity to actually help us increase clarity because it can give us the opportunity to protect our energy. We have to lead and guide that, though. We have to be in such a regulated state, a state of awareness, that we are actually able to guide this. And really, I think about AI at its core, it's neutral. It's not judging you. It's not trying to get into your nervous system. It really doesn't have an opinion on how you integrate with it. It doesn't have an opinion on how you leverage it. I mean, it might give you ideas, but it doesn't have any emotion attached to that. It's neutral. I even think about I was working on a project a couple of weeks ago, and me and AI were not getting along very well. It was not I had come to this place where in this particular way that I use it and leverage it in my business has been able to gift me back time so that I can really be in my genius zone. Except I had this expectation for that all of a sudden, and it was not behaving. And so it wasn't giving me what I had become used to as far as the support in this particular way. And so I found myself being like pretty frustrated with what was happening. And I was thinking about if I was working with someone directly, let's say, because this was a marketing thing. So let's say I was working with my marketing team in the past, it would be difficult to not allow that frustration to show, whereas with leveraging the tools, I didn't really have to, in that moment, think about hurting AI's feelings, and so I could be so direct and and tell it I'm frustrated with this, and obviously, we need to have good human communication, human first in everything we do here, and so it was a really cool example for me of the difference and the awareness we need to continue to have in our communication skills. But in this particular case, I knew that the AI didn't have an emotion. It was neutral. And so we were able to work through it like that. So it's our relationship to the AI opportunities that is going to dictate how we're able to interact and how we're able to integrate with it moving forward. Now, I want you to just pause and think about that. It's your relationship to it that will actually determine its impact. Whew, that's a big thought. So let's make this practical. I want to talk today about 3 ways that AI can actually support your nervous system instead of putting extra stress or strain on it. So, the first way that AI can support your nervous system is by cognitive offloading. So, this is when I think about I think about all the tabs open on a computer. And, it's funny because my husband keeps all of his tabs open on his computer, and I'm a, like, 1 tab at a time girl. Because when there's more than 1 tab open on my computer, I feel a little I'm even one of those people that likes 1 screen, even though I will play with 2 at times. I just see people with, like, multiple screens, and I wonder how they actually really do that. But think about how our brains are functioning. And I picture my husband's computer with all those tabs open. I think that's kind of like our brains. We have these tabs open and they're looping all at once. And so that's one of the ways that we can offload, I would say, with the opportunity with AI is we can have one tab in our brain open at a time. Oof, that's spectacular. So with this cognitive offloading, what I know for sure is your brain was not designed to hold 47 open loops all at once. And the strategy threads and the team dynamics and the creative ideas and the personal responsibilities and the future planning. When everything stays in your head, your nervous system never fully rests. Just think about how that felt as I was even rushing through those things. That's what our brain has been going through, cognitive overload. And so, one powerful use of AI is that it can have a more structured brain organization. You can say to AI, here are all the variables I'm considering in this decision. Help me organize them into themes, risks, next steps. And and it's not there to make the decisions for you. I'm going to go back to what we talked about last episode. Discernment, discernment, discernment. It is not there to make the decisions for you, but it is there to reduce mental clutter. And this level of clarity, can you just feel your body slow down and breathe just in recognizing that? So the clarity reduces stress. So that's number 1, cognitive overload. Our second opportunity is emotional neutral processing. What the heck is that? It's before sending that really important high stakes email. It's before responding to something maybe triggering where we would have reacted in the past and not really had the opportunity to think through our response, or before stepping into a negotiation. You can actually use AI, back to the fact that it has no emotion. You can use AI as this neutral processor. So you could write something like this. Here's what I want to say. Where might this be emotionally charged? Or how could I communicate this with clarity and authority? Simple question you could ask it. And again, I'm just giving some high level, very simple overviews of what is possible here. I want to, especially for my psychotherapist daughter, just remind everyone it's not, AI is not therapy, but it is perspective. And it does reduce this reactivity that we, because of how the speed of business and the speed of communication has been, and the overload of communication has been so rampant for so long, that our nervous systems have been on high alert. And so this is an opportunity to protect your nervous system. Now, the third thing that it has the opportunity to do is time compression without self compression. And there's a difference between saving time and compressing yourself. Can you feel that? Because in the past, what we've done is compressed ourselves. We have worked longer. We've tried to fit more into an hour. We've rushed from one meeting to the other without eating. And so AI can create first drafts for us, outlines for us, frameworks for us, summaries for us. But remember, you remain the author. You are the creator. So delegating tasks doesn't mean delegating your authorship or your voice or your message. But when you allow AI to handle the, call it the blank page, like I choked on my words, the blank page anxiety, and then you refine your voice, back to discernment, you reduce pressure without losing integrity. And integrity is regulating. Okay, so now let's ground these 3 things in. So before we go any further, let's reset for a minute. This is our reset minute segment because leadership starts where? I know everyone wants to say mind. No, back to nervous system. Leadership starts in the body. Also doesn't start in your calendar. I know. So notice your body right now. And when you think about AI and the 3 different things I just presented, does your system feel contracted? Do you feel tight in the chest? Are you leaning forward? Is your jaw feeling tight and set? Or does it feel more neutral? Does it feel more curious, steady? Take one slow breath. The future is not asking you to panic. It's asking you to discern. You do not need every tool. You need aligned tools. So now let your shoulders drop. Leadership is not about absorbing every acceleration available to you. It's about choosing what enters your field. And with that thought, take one more breath in, and we just stabilized your capacity. Look how simple that was, a reset minute. So now our reset is complete. Let's keep going. Now, something else that we're going to do every week is a break in the episode for the AI lab. And this is where curiosity meets AI without losing your humanity. So, this is where every week we're going to talk about one thing happening in AI, or we're going to experiment with something, or we're going to look at a tool or a perspective. Just really stay attuned to what's happening and share information so that you don't have to feel alone in all of this right now. And so let's go. What's happening in the world of AI this week? Well, this week I've been experimenting with something I call a CEO brain download. So once a week for the past little while, I've been opening a document and writing down the following. And I personally do this on a Sunday night, but you can do this whenever you want. So it is literally a brain dump. I'm writing down concerns from the week, ideas, decisions that might be pending, creative sparks I've got going on, fears I might be experiencing, opportunities. There's no real structure to it. It's just literally a raw leadership data dump. And then I take this page and I upload it, paste it into AI, and I prompt AI with this. Organize this into strategic themes, potential blind spots, and the three highest leverage next steps. Reflect back patterns you notice in how I'm thinking. So, what this does and has been doing is extraordinary. It externalizes that cognitive load. So, in the past, I would find back to the open tabs, these things were all ruminating inside and not that easy to sit down and kind of summarize that for myself and really be able to say, I mean, I could discern the top priorities, but maybe not recognize the patterns. So it recognizes the patterns and it also shows me where I'm overcomplicating things because I can do that. I mean, we can all do that. We can add a little bit of that spiral. Whereas if I can get it out of my brain and onto paper, now AI can take that spiral away. And now when it comes back, this is a really important part, is we approach that from our authority, not dependence, but this ability for my own authority, my own discernment. I'm using it to sharpen how I'm thinking. I'm using it to amplify my ability to see things and it's giving me a structure around it. So it really doesn't replace you in any way. It's so important to understand the difference here. So AI now becomes this cognitive ally, like a sparring partner, but it's not a nervous system agitator then. It's actually releasing that from my nervous system. So now I feel more integrated and I've got this discernment piece. And so I actually feel ready to rock for Monday morning, like I can move forward. So that's just one example that we played with in the last few weeks that we wanted to share with you. That is our AI lab moment for this week. And now let's get back to the regular show. So, before our reset and our lab moment, we were discussing time compression without self compression. If you want a simple integrity filter, and I know I keep using this word integrity today, it's interesting. I'm noticing that. And I think it's because we can get so out of integrity with any systems that we leverage if we're not doing it from a a place of deep alignment. So we really want to look at these three things. Is this replacing my thinking or refining it? Two, is this increasing clarity or urgency? And three, does my body feel contracted or expanded when I use these tools? And when we can take things through that perspective lens, then we will know because your nervous system will tell you the truth faster than any report out there can tell you. Go to your nervous system. It knows. And the leaders who thrive in this era will not be the ones who are using the tools the most, who are listening to all the outside noise. They will be the ones using tools with the most integrity. Because this is what I know, like I know. AI does not and will not regulate you. That is an inside job. But your relationship to it can regulate you, and it can dysregulate you if you're not completely attuned. So when you lead human first, technology always becomes an amplifier, not a threat, not a pressure, not an identity crisis, but a support. So remember, human first, future ready, always. And I look forward to playing with you next week and just inspiring this conversation to continue because it's so vital to where we're at right now. Leading in the age of AI, human first, future ready, together.